Well, we also have an expert to weigh in on the tragedy in Florida. Actor and playwright Eric Ulloa is the author behind 26 Pebbles, a play about the victims of the Sandy Hook massacre. He also has close ties to the area where Wednesday's school shooting took place. Thank you for joining us, Eric. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. So first of all, tell us your connection to the tragedy in Florida.
Well, unfortunately, the tragedy happened in my home school district. I went to high school at Western High School. It's in the same district as Marjory Stoneman Douglas. So, I mean, this couldn't have hit any closer to home.
And then for your play 26 Pebbles, can you tell us who you interviewed and why this story was so important to you personally?
With 26 Pebbles in Newtown, it became about my own complacency and my wanting to do something instead of just sit here and be furious about what was happening. So I had no agenda. I just sat out there and I started interviewing people, and then friends would recommend their friends and people from all walks of life. I just wanted to know about what happens to a town after one of these mass shootings. And what ended up being at first one interview, by the time I was done, I ended up having to come back for about 3 weeks, and I interviewed a little over 60 people.
Wow. And Eric, at this time, a lot of parents, I think, feel a little helpless in a sense like this. What can you do to prevent this? That's the question every parent is asking themselves. And what do you think parents can tell their kids and teens at a time like this?
I think as far as prevention, I mean, we have many steps. There's the obvious mental health and gun control. Those are the things that we have to continue lobbying our senators. I mean, there's a midterm election coming, so vote. You have to vote. If you don't like what's happening, vote for change. Aside from that, I think there are warning signs that are out there. The more I work with this piece and with people that work in this field, I keep being told that reach out to people. If someone's sitting alone at a school table and having lunch alone and they're acting odd, reach out to them, befriend them. Many times these people are just so alone and so scared and become so isolated that this becomes the last course of action for them in their mind. Sometimes a simple hello can save many lives.
And I think we're all sometimes very removed from incidents like these that happen. You got a chance to really sit down one-on-one and talk about the effects, the lasting effects of a tragedy like this. What was it like talking to those parents in Newtown, Connecticut?
I mean, it was tough. It was very tough. Especially I had some parents that their children were in the bathroom hiding next to the classroom where most of the children were killed. So these parents are dealing with something that we never talk about, that these students will now go through at Marjory Stoneman Douglas, which is PTSD. These students afterwards, that day, they assumed they were going to die. They programmed themselves in their heads that they will die that day. So then afterwards, every single day is now built on fear. Every single day is built on nightmares and thinking that someone's out to kill them, especially at that very young age. But even these 14 to 18-year-olds, it's the same thing. We're not built to process that stuff, especially at that age. So, the biggest thing was PTSD that they were dealing with afterwards. And then the town has a scar on it, and becomes synonymous, with the name like Columbine, Aurora, Newtown. So that's something that just, that takes decades and decades to start, whittling away. But, there's a million after effects, but PTSD is the one that really hits right away for these kids.
All right, Eric, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And you can also make a change if you would like to see a change. You can head to vote.org. The final day to register to vote is February 20th.